name's Tricia and I work for Conservation Volunteers as the Regional Program Manager. I look after all of the regional programs across the state, and that includes looking after Brookfield Conservation Park. It's the first time that an NGO has undertaken such an exercise, and it's a great privilege to be able to do that for the community. Brookfield is unique because it's had quite a long history. It started off with early settlers who ran sheep throughout this area, and it became part of a station called Glen Leslie Station. Around the turn of the century, they built the homestead here, and a family ended up living here running the sheep. Then by the 1970s, it was acknowledged that it was quite a significant area for the habitat of the southern hairy-nosed wombat. And so the Chicago Zoological Society took a great interest and decided to purchase that property off of the existing landholder. After that time, they sent lots of researchers over from America trying to take research on various birds and vegetation and some of the other wildlife here.
I work for the Department of Environment, Water and Natural Resources as their science coordinator. My current role is as a member and advisor from the Friends of Brookfield Conservation Park. Brookfield's quite unique in terms of what it has to offer for research. It comprises quite a diverse array of semi-arid habitats, and the fact that those sorts of environments are so close to Adelaide is a huge resource for students and professionals to study how these systems work.
My name is Alison Johnson. I'm a graduate student at the University of Chicago, and I'm working out here with my advisor, Steve Pruett-Jones, on the splendid and variegated fairy wrens.
My name is Stephen Pruett-Jones. I'm a professor at the University of Chicago in the United States, and I'm a research scientist and have been working at Brookfield Conservation Park since 1992. The importance of Brookfield from a scientific perspective is twofold. Approximately 2/3 of the park was set aside as a research area, so the public can gain access to, on the nature drives and picnic areas, approximately 1/3 of the park, but then 2/3 of the park are off limits and are devoted to long-term research projects.
It's also a great spot in terms of bird conservation. This area has a lot of species that are both migratory and non-migratory, and associated with both the riverland as well as this dense mallee area.
This site is particularly valuable because you can set up long-term experiments. There is modest accommodation here at the research camp, and it's a great place to work.
The facilities here at Brookfield Conservation Park that are supported by funding that CVA receives are vital to the success of scientific research here.
The conservation volunteers have assumed responsibility for managing the park on behalf of South Australia, South Australian government. They bring volunteers and energy to understand and manage conservation issues and threatening processes on the park and in the region as a whole.
I'm Jessica Strauss. I'm doing a PhD on the southern hairy-nosed wombat in the Murraylands of South Australia. It is an area where you can readily see the southern hairy-nosed wombat. Volunteers can come up and do weeding for my stuff as well, the work that I do, and I do field trips and things. We're always looking for volunteers.
You can get field experience, field work, come out here, learn pitfalling techniques, weeding, just getting to know the fauna and flora of the area, and it will help you with your knowledge basis for wherever you go, being able to identify species and stuff like that.
They get the benefit of being out there and seeing what's there, a chance of seeing wombats and other species and learning a bit more about the park.
The importance of Brookfield is to engage the community. And that's at all levels, whether that's the scientific community or the general public who are coming in to have a look at it. So, it's engaging people in community science. CVA's vision for managing and leasing the park is to make it an example within Australia of an NGO being able to manage the resources for the community.
It's a park that will contribute quite substantially to research about all sorts of things, not just about the southern hairy-nosed wombat, and also a park that means that the community can assist in that. So they become citizen scientists. So anybody can become a scientist just for a day or for a week. That's what I love about Brookfield, that you get to play a part in that.